Today's podcast is brought to you by Eggshell Light Company. For over 45 years, Eggshell Light Company has been the go-to specialty shop handling the lighting needs for all that grace the shores of beautiful Hawaii. Combining the artistic methods of the theater with the speed and efficiency of the musical touring industry, they have pioneered event lighting throughout the Hawaiian Islands. They specialize in supply of top-shelf equipment and designers for broadcast, concerts, corporate, and special events. From the smallest weddings to televised concerts and the largest corporate clients, they know that this is your most important event. It is their goal to make you feel that way. Aloha from Eggshell Light Company. Welcome, everyone, to the LD at Large podcast. My name is Chris Lose. I am the designer relations developer at Ayrton Lighting, as well as columnist at LD at Large for the back page for PLSN. I am here today with Omar Colom, Director of Show Services, Zack Larsen, COO of AFPC, and Adam Faldetta, Founder and CEO of AFPC. I was online last night looking through all my news feed, looking at all the different coronavirus cancellations and postponements. Yep. And one of the ones that I saw the most was a change.org petition for some aid, some help for some of the people, basically a federal aid package for the events industry. And
we need it.
Go ahead.
I just said we need it.
Absolutely. And so I decided I would reach out and try and get some attention for the gentlemen that are putting this together. And one of the first ones that came up was Omar Colom. Omar, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate that you saw the petition and reached out to us. That's awesome.
Absolutely. So you and I had been meaning to do a podcast before because I wanted to get out some of the stuff that you're doing with AV Educate. But now the entire industry, we're all sitting at home. So we were able to kind of fast track this podcast today. I'm really excited that we have this opportunity.
Oh, me too. And yeah, we were going to literally talk about this in a couple of weeks. So, I wish it was on a better circumstances, but it's great to still be here talking to you and to talk about, just education in general with the community out there.
Absolutely. So let's get started first with AV Educate, because I think that's going to be a major part of what we're going to be talking about today.
Okay.
Fill me in on how that got started and what the end goal is with AV Educate.
So AV Educate was literally a napkin idea I had years ago. I've been doing this for 12 years now. And, I probably like everybody else who's listening right now, I came up doing reading manuals and doing hands-on stuff. I worked with a company for about 6 years in the warehouse, and I had to work my way up to a lead video engineer position. And one of the ways to do that was to read the manuals, learn all the gear, and I learned everything in video to get to that point. And there was no significant resource for me out there to learn this. But speaking to the older generation, the industry changed when I came in, just 10 years ago, where guys were coming in with broadcast engineering degrees and kind of transitioning out of this digital era. There was just no resource for me. So after a lot of kind of trial and error and looking up my own stuff and looking for resources myself, I decided to, I have this library of resources. I always offer it to people. Why not just give it to the community as a mass and see what I can get back from it to continue to learn, to continue to see what's going on. And then from that, 2 years ago when I started AV Educate on a group just to see if it was going to go anywhere, it blossomed into what it is now. And, there's a plethora of guys who are willing to share information, who are willing to give feedback back. And just from that general feedback, I took a step further and I created a unit section. And in that unit section is what I call a user-generated learning path. But everybody's posted about lighting, audio, video, rigging, or even electricity. I've created a subsection for that so that you can find those particular articles to those links and go dive in deeper than what I'm providing on a daily basis.
Sounds like you're trying to put all the resources in one place.
Well, at least what I can get my hands on. Yeah, the community's been helping a lot too. They obviously provide more than what I can find. I'm just one guy. There's 2,000 members and they're all contributing things on a daily, and I'm just organizing it so that the next person that comes in has an easier time than I did going in this. I have a friend who's doing this 5 years now as a lighting engineer. And just from me helping out and kind of giving him those resources, he's excelled very quickly because he now has these forms and these locations where he knows, hey, if I want to learn more about the Grand MA or the Hogs or any of those boards, AV Educate has a link to where I can go directly to that. I don't have to search around for it or look for it. Like, it's there. It's a direct link to where I need to go.
Well, and a community of people that can collaborate. So, we've all been in situations where, you're on show site or you're doing a prep and you can't find something in a menu, or you can't understand why you're getting a certain issue that you haven't seen before. And now you have a community of, 2,000 people that you can post and say, hey, has anybody had this particular problem before? How have you gotten around it?
Yep.
And instantly you have, an entire world of people that's there to support you, as opposed to a group of technicians that want to see you, fail. So it's nice to have some camaraderie amongst the technicians that hey, I've seen this before. Just do this and that, and you'll be fine. And it's
100%.
Overall helped, I think, shows succeed and the engineers themselves succeed more so and feel better supported than they did in the past. So.
And I will add, a small part of this too is been me just kind of getting with the frustration of, I came up as a stagehand. I came up as a not knowing anything or not really knowing everything, and I kept hearing, I don't know where to go to research. I don't know where to learn. I don't know what to do. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna provide a resource for you. And I in my group, and anybody here can attest to it, I don't just share content of myself. I share what other people are sharing. I share what other groups are sharing.
100%.
I encourage.
You bring people together.
Yeah.
It's all about learning.
Yeah, no. And there's other groups that are specialized in certain things that I think, hey, this group does it better than I do. If you want to learn more about this particular, like lighting, and go to lightingtrainer.com. You want to learn more about projection by itself, go to projectionistvideo.com. You want to learn more about audio. There's tons of audio groups. I mean, you can go to shore.com and there's a lot of information you can use there. That
every pro audio company has a great online
and I'm not saying
it's just people don't go to the website.
Correct. So I'm providing that essentially that directory or that hub to say, hey, you want to learn these things, here's all the information that I've acquired plus everybody else that says these are the places to go to learn that and to push forward in your careers.
Having the community attached to that information is a huge resource, because a lot of people will often learn everything they need to learn and then think that they will know what to do with that information. Whereas most of the times they actually have just learned the keystrokes or the knobs to turn, but they haven't actually learned what to do with that information.
I agree. I totally agree. There's a difference between experience and knowledge, and AV Educate definitely provides you that knowledge and that theoretical knowledge that you need to have in order to execute the actual functions when you're on show site. But in our industry, there's just no way to gain that unless you physically do that job to know when is the right time to hit that button, or when is the right time to EQ this, or when is the right time to do that functionality that you've learned. Learning and doing it are, in my mind, are two separate things. But AV Educate prepares you for that moment to say, hey, I know this could be done here. This is the time to do it. Or if you're a stagehand moving up, going, hey, I'm a stagehand. I've learned these things. And when that moment presents itself, you now have the knowledge to take over and take that initiative.
Definitely.
And you've even gone as far to expand it past the website, right? You have an online presence. You have a social media following with AV Educate as well, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I try to expand on just not just AV Educate in general, because one of the first things I got when I started this group was obviously, I got a lot of negative feedback when I first started this from a lot of the older guys who were like, oh, you're going to give out free information, or you're going to give out the wrong information, and you're going to create
scared of their careers.
Yeah, no, for sure. No. And I totally get it. And I have total respect for that. And I'm not trying to take away from anybody, but at the same token, I want to raise everybody up to my level. I want them to be competent. I want them to understand, hey, these are the basic things that I think you should know when you're a stagehand. And if you don't, get it up to that level so that you can go to the next level.
Yeah, well, it helps put best practices into place, right?
Definitely.
For safety and for, protection of the operators themselves, protection of the quality of the show, and safety overall. If we're all collaborating and we all know similar information or are all willing to help each other, it makes for a better
an SOP
experience.
Yep.
Right? Standard operating procedure.
So definitely you want people to raise above you too.
Oh, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I definitely want people that are following me or taking my advice to be better than me in the long run. For
Absolutely.
Sure. For sure.
That's best case in training. So
I agree with that.
Ultimately, we all got into this business because we like to entertain people, and it's, some of us are gearheads and we like the gear and this and that, but really at the end of the day, the audience is who matters. And the better we all are, the better shows that we're helping, whether it's recording artists or corporate presentations or television shows, we're helping deliver a better production to our audiences. And I think that's really the key value of helping each other lift up, is that we're pushing now the envelope of technology, because we're not all trying to catch up on what's been done. We're now saying, hey, we all know how to use the stuff. We can go forward and do more and be more creative. And it didn't take me a whole 10-hour day to engineer the basic switch package, because I learned on AB Educate how to do it in the shortcuts.
Yep.
Built a show file. Now I have the other 6 hours of my load-in day to program cool looks and do different things. And I can be creative as an engineer, which then adds to the show.
Yeah. And just to jump on real quick, Chris. So in the Instagram AB Educate, right, is it kind of behind the scenes of me personally and what I do on a daily basis to prove that, hey, I'm not only just giving out content here and trying to raise people up, but I'm also in the industry. I'm also working these jobs. I'm also doing the things that I'm saying that I'm doing. I'm not just giving you generic stuff from a book. I'm doing this from these are my real life experiences on shows that I'm relaying to you guys. I'm not just Joe Blow here reading a manual and saying, hey, this is what the manual said to do. Figure it out. So I do that. I also do, the Pinterest account I have for more of my technical directors and my clients who want to see, set designs and I want to see set design and things like that. I don't have all the answers all the time, but when I get into those conversations, or I get to do the pre-pro sometimes, hey, go to my Pinterest account. There's tons of examples of the cool things there we can do. How about we look at that when I'm doing quotes, even for AFPC right now. I've sat down with these guys and we've gone through our Pinterest account and said, hey, I like this idea. Hey, let's start. How do we do this? How do we represent this? And it's just a plethora of information for myself and for anybody else out there who's in the industry to use and utilize. And the more I can find, the more people can share with me, the more I'm going to give it back to the community. I'm not going to hold this to myself. I want you all to be as successful as I am. I'm willing to teach you if you're willing to listen.
Yeah, I've seen a few people out there that are basically just reading tech manuals online and hoping that is enough information, and it never is.
It never is.
Never is. No, it's general knowledge. It's general knowledge, and until you pay that money from the manufacturer or from a class like Evolve, for example, you won't get to that next level. But again, my feeling is that if you don't know it's there, you don't know where to go. You're going to read the manual.
Well, go ahead.
That's not necessarily true.
Okay.
If you don't pay the money and take a class, that's not true. You can put in time and actually from ground learn.
Yeah, no.
A lot of people that are very successful took a class on how to do it.
I agree with that. Yeah. No, you can learn it definitely hands-on. You can get a mentor, you can learn hands-on.
Yeah, a lot of us had mentors. A lot of us
100%.
Frankly, got hired for jobs that maybe we were a little underqualified for and had a lot of on-the-job learning and figuring it out.
Yeah.
Oh, and, I can count a lot of my career on just a couple of people.
I definitely had a couple of mentors in my industry. I had a couple of mentors growing up. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you guys sitting here have been mentors to me tremendously the last few years.
One of the things that I want to add too is that, reading the manual might teach you how to use that piece of electronics. It's not going to teach you stagecraft. It's not going to teach you the business of show. It's going to teach you what that particular box does. And in an audio or a video, situation where maybe you're reading a manual on a Ross Carbonite, that's not going to teach you how to integrate that Ross Carbonite with an Evertz DA tray and a Blackmagic router and everything else, because they're not going to talk about the other things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another value that AV Educate brings to the table, is it really emphasizes the real world application of the electronics that we're using and the way they integrate with each other and get used in the scenarios that we're using.
Agreed.
A lot of the times, especially in live staging, a lot of our gear wasn't even made to do what we do with it. It was built with the idea that it was going to sit in a TV truck or a broadcast studio somewhere, and we put it into a hotel ballroom or an arena or a field out in the middle of nowhere to do a music festival. And we're using these pieces of electronics in a way that the manufacturers never originally intended them to be used, in a scenario and in a signal flow chain that was never thought of in the factory. And that's where a lot of experience comes into play.
Yeah, and
definitely.
You only get that hands-on, and you only get that through the work experience. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I guess you need that background and that experience to actually know the full capability of any of the pieces of equipment that you have.
Yeah, no, it for me, it's kind of, and my perspective is a little bit skewed, and this is thanks because Zack and me have had a lot of these conversations. Zack comes from the touring world where, for example, you get a sheet, what's going to happen at what time, when it happens, what's supposed to go down, and that's the Bible. Like, that doesn't change for the most part. But in corporate, you get that sheet from the client, and probably changes.
Book of lies.
Yeah. As soon as you get that, it's probably already been changed.
We joke and call our show flow a book of lies when we do a corporate show, because we'll rehearse a show for 3 or 4 days and do it exactly the same every single time. And then all of a sudden an executive gets on stage and decides to go off book and do something completely different.
You gotta go with it.
That's where that theatrical training and that stagecraft comes with it. And frankly, trusting everybody else on the crew that if I hit this button and take that camera to screen, that my shader is going to be on top of that, and the camera operator is going to follow along, and the audio guy is following which mic is live right now, and we're all working together and have a shorthand or not talking at all in a lot of scenarios and just working off of each other's motions. And no manual is going to teach you that.
Correct.
Time in the trenches is what's going to teach you.
Correct. The manual teaches you the knowledge to know what that function does or that button does, but it's not going to teach you when to use that function or what's going on. And that's what I'm talking about when I was saying you need the hands-on experience. You need that not wisdom, but you need that kind of time in doing it. Because the thing also with live is that once it's missed that's it. It's missed. There's no going back. There's no retakes. That's it. It's done.
Right.
That's absolutely true. Tell me a little bit about how you guys teamed up, because I know that, Omar, you're from one side of the industry, and Zack and Adam, you guys are from a different. How did you guys all link up together?
So I feel like Adam might be able to try it. So Adam and me met, I would say 6 years ago.
Probably about 6 years ago. Omar was a stagehand on my shows.
I got to admit, it was the coolest experience ever. So I had left the company, and I kind of, I decided, I'm a veteran, by the way, but I decided, let me start over, and not kind of, I left the company as a video engineer, as a V1, as a lead in the company. And I said, I'm going to leave the company because it was a money issue. I love the company, but it was just, I wasn't getting enough money. And I went back into stagehand work, and I met Adam on a show, I believe it's a Diplomat or the Fountain.
I think it was the Diplomat.
Yeah, as a stagehand. And I did what I normally do. Hey, can I help out? Can I do this? Can I do that? And I expressed some knowledge, and we talked here and there a little bit. And he just saw, hey, this guy clearly knows about video. He knows what he's doing. I don't recall if we had any miscommunication with information, but I helped him do the whole video setup. And he was like, hey, why don't you give me your number, and I'll if I get more work, I'll call you. And then it was like a couple weeks later, hey, can you do the show with me? I'm over here. Yeah, I'll be there. No worries. And then it kind of just blossomed to that. And then every year after that, we just worked more and more together. And I got into more lead positions. So he kind of essentially, which is I should be everybody's dream scenario, right? I showed my worth, my knowledge to somebody who was able to say, hey, why don't you go from stagehand to a lead? Put me some breakouts for a while. And I started doing some lead stuff. And then when I started AV Educate, Adam saw the value in that. And I was having a lot of problems kind of getting courses and stuff to the community. And Zack was very knowledgeable and teaching me a lot of stuff as well. And he's like, hey, so both of them kind of approached me and said, hey, would you mind coming on full time with us and working with us with what we have? If what's same question we're having here. What's going on with AV Educate? I said, the biggest problem I'm having is obviously I don't have instructors, one, and two, I don't have an infrastructure. And a lot of the companies that I'm talking to, or a lot of the vendors I'm talking to, they're not just giving away free stuff. And they said, well, we have tons of gear. Why don't you just work with us full time, and whatever you need, you can use it. And it was kind of like a literally win-win scenario. You mean I can work for you full time, which they're one of my favorite clients already at that point, and I have access to all the gear to do for AV Educate to teach people the things I want to teach them. Yeah, I'm there. Where do I got to sign?
That's like a unicorn altruistic situation there. That sounds like magic to me.
It was, and I'll tell you, it's something really too. So I first met Zack on Swipe Date, which was a show that I'm not sure how good it did in the US, but it did really well in South America. And we did not communicate at all. He was like some hipster dude, and I was like, "What the f is this guy?" And I was like, and I was like, "That's my business partner." I was like, "Oh, hey, what's up? How you doing, man?" And he had some girlfriend there, so I was like, "Okay, let me not, I don't know who he is." But we clicked as soon as we sat down. We just clicked. And he's probably like one of my best friends now. And ever since, even to the point where when I came on board, he, to me, because I'm retarded about personal stuff, he's like, hey, listen, I want you to come on board. Before I do that, I want to take you out to dinner with your wife, and I want to make sure that she knows what's going on. And I was like, why?
Because that's important.
Yeah, because it's important. And I was like, bro, I love working for these guys, and I was doing whatever I could.
Significant others in this industry take a big toll while we're out on the road, having a good time, throwing back beers, doing shows for 30,000 people. Our wives are at home raising our kids. It's,
your kids.
Yeah. Your kid, not my kids. But no, but I mean, so like just the whole process to come on board. It was just, yeah, like you said, it's a unicorn scenario. I mean, it was a perfect scenario. It was a perfect everything. And there's no way I could say no to it. I mean, I loved working for these guys. I would constantly change whatever I needed to change to make sure I can get on the gig with them, because from working with them personally, and then just the way that they package their gear, my job was so much easier. I mean, I would text Adam even when I was on a different job saying, "Hey, I'm miserable right now. I wish I was on a job with you because everything's a la carte right now. And I'm doing graphics right now, or I'm doing projection. And instead of getting everything from one case, I had to find the projector in one case. I had to find the lens in another case. I had to find the cables in another case. I had to find, Joe Blow in another. And it's like, when I go to do a show with you guys, I go to get my projector case, and everything is in my case. My cables, my rigging, my frame, my lenses, my remotes, everything I need is in one case. So I don't have to go searching around, spending hours, wasting my time trying to find it, and then talk to the TD like, hey, how do we order this? Where is it? Because I can't find it. It's like, no, it's all in the case. It's there. Boom. Open the case up, unpack it, put it on the scaffold, and you're done. It was just like it's a great, literally, it's like the slogan should have been here, by engineers for engineers. That should have been the slogan for the company. By engineers for engineers.
And that's
the new food.
Yeah. That's basically what we've tried to build here is, we all worked for big box houses. We're not a very old company. The company's about a little over 8 years old. January was our 8-year anniversary. And, we're all young, and we all were engineers, and we did hundreds of shows, and we worked for the big box houses that, all the 3-letter brands and 2-letter brands that everybody knows. And we just all banged our heads against the wall forever, wondering how these $100 million companies couldn't get packaging right, couldn't get cabling right. And that, touching back on the AV Educate side of things, that was what made it so much harder for me when I was coming up to learn, is that nobody ever built a complete system for me.
Yeah.
Every single show that I ever did, I was engineering a TV truck from scratch.
Yep.
It wasn't input and output, and things were wired.
No one thought about
if you work in a broadcast studio, you could be a master engineer in a year because the package was already installed and built, and you just have to learn how to get your stuff in and out of the package.
Agreed.
When you're doing shows for a lot of these big AV companies, because they want to rent each individual item out with its own price tag, which I understand the business side of that.
Right.
It makes it so much harder to succeed and leaves so much more room for the show to fail because something possibly wasn't engineered correctly. Or, there's the whole electronic side of this thing that not all of us are electrical engineers. So, there's whole balance of power and signal flow that goes into engineering that much gear from scratch every time, holding it together with gaff tape and love. That comes into play. And
a lot of times it's sold by non-AV guys. So it's a old school Panasonic SD switcher with brand new, HD cameras, and you have to, DA or convert something somewhere to make it talk to each other. And it's a whole additional layer that, hey, I don't even know what's going on in the show other than this code I saw, and I don't have exactly what's here. So what was your game plan?
So
what did you sell?
So that was part of, we were building our inventory over that 6-year period that we were getting to know Omar, and some of the feedback we were getting from him. And then once he started AV Educate, some of the feedback that we were getting from other people was on our packaging or on packaging as a whole in the industry. And that was one thing as we were building, we were trying to really listen to. Like he said, we're, by techs for techs, because we knew the struggles we went through. We still engineer our shows every once in a while just to stay fresh and make sure that, I'll still cut cameras. Zack will still mix a show. And, we wanted to give the techs the things that they needed to succeed, because ultimately, again, it's about the audience. Our clients are important, people who pay for these shows and throw the shows, but the people who are sitting in the chairs are really the recipients of the services that we offer. And if we're packaged good and the systems are built well and the technicians are trained and given the freedom to be creative because things built faster and more efficiently, everyone's getting a better show.
Agreed.
Yeah, for real. That's the cheat code. If you want to make a successful company, support your team, and your team will support the client. You never have to actually have a forward sales team.
We take care of our technicians. They take care of our customers.
That's very Richard Branson of you guys.
And the proof is everywhere. Like we don't have a sales team because we don't need one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
A1s and V1s and L1s sell my company more than I would ever be able to. Because if you support them properly, they're going to tell their client, no, they have the better gear. They have this. They have this. You build a sexy rack. Guess what? They want to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't have to have a sales team.
Yeah.
Because they are the sales team.
And that's, what better sales scenario are you going to be in than having an A1 who loves your gear and loves working for you sitting next to your client for a week on headset? I might drive in and have a steak and a drink and say, hey, thanks for hiring us. And then I'm off to the next one. This guy's there for 7, 8, 9 days, sitting in trenches for 16 hours a day in a ballroom, talking to my client every day. If that's a good conversation, I'm getting the next show.
That's the fucking sales team.
Yeah, no.
People think about it piss poorly. No, sell the cheapest gear, sell this. You're wrong, because your client's always going to leave. If you support the people that actually support your show, they'll never leave.
Yeah. No, and me and Adam, me and Zack have gone to conventions or I don't know what you call a convention. We went to an industry specific meeting.
That was terrible.
Yeah. We went to a meeting that was catered to our industry, and the everybody in the industry was saying we're crazy. We don't make sense.
The entire message that they came back to download the rest of our staff on was that according to the industry, everything we're doing is wrong, but we just had a banner sales year. So let's keep doing what we're doing.
Exactly. Exactly. And for anybody listening to this,
sell cheaper.
Just so I don't ever, if you didn't know this about me already, I don't ever, publicly like boost myself or say, hey, I'm the director of this company, or hey, I do all this. Like I'm just honest and humble about what's going on, and I provide these services to people without getting into any of those details. So, I'm not here trying to do anything misleading or anything like that. I've never done that socially on media, and I've always tagged when I'm working with them or what I'm doing with them on the Instagram page and on Facebook, so that people know, hey, I work here all the time. These are guys I love working with. These are the gear we have, and I've always been very transparent about that. I've never been hidden about any of this stuff.
The best promotion is to just do a good job at what you're doing. You're only as good as your last show, no matter who you're
100%.
Who you're repping.
Absolutely. But for real, I mean, the company doesn't need help. AV Educate needs help. We need more people to actually care and pay attention and learn.
So that's kind of why we're doing this.
This is just the downside of the industry right now. To
look on the bright side of this downside is now is a great time for all the people who are sitting at home
to learn.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times before this has happened that I used to always book educational things, or I would plan a trip to go learn a product only to get called away to go do a job, and I would have to cancel my training to go do a show. It actually became a joke around our house that if I ever started to be slow, I would just book a training session. I would clearly get booked for a job the next day, but I don't see that happening in the next few weeks. So I think this is a perfect moment, a perfect opportunity for a lot of people to find AV Educate.
It's also hard to say, hey, let's go spend some money to learn something when there's probably not going to be a check in the mail anytime soon.
That's the other side of this is you're going to see a lot of the bigger box houses offering training, but there's going to be a price tag attached to it. You're going to see a lot of these big companies, saying, hey, come learn LED for $250 a person, or come do this. And if you don't have a check in the mail, and if the last show that you just worked might not pay you for the next couple of months because the clients are panicking and money as a whole you're not going to take that $250 that you can feed your kids with and go learn LED. You're going to hold on to your money and, buy hand sanitizer and toilet paper right now. And, what we can do as an industry altogether is those of us who have put ourselves in a position that we have this gear, we have LED walls, we have cameras, we have speakers, we have all this stuff, offer it to the community, offer it as a training, and you're going to build both loyalty with your technicians. You're going to train more technicians so that you can cast a wider net when all this work comes back, because that's what's going to happen in third and fourth quarter. Once everybody kind of starts to calm down and the shows start coming back, all the shows that we just lost are going to come back hard.
Yep.
Tenfold.
They're either going to reschedule really quick and really fast, or shows that we normally would be doing are going to grow in size because the medium sales meeting that just canceled is going to get added to the end of the year meeting as a large breakout room. And we're going to need, there's a shortage of very qualified broadcast engineers and audio engineers and lighting designers and riggers. And there's going to be more work than there is qualified personnel. So rather than putting us all in a situation of there's one smart guy and 3 guys that are kind of learning on a show and all of these shows are crashing and burning, take this time right now and offer it to the community. Help cultivate the talent, help people who want to help themselves come learn on your stuff. That's what we're doing for free.
And use AV Educate as your platform. I mean, I constantly push this out there to everybody. Hey, use my platform as a stage for yourself to put your voice out there and to say, hey, I have this course, whether it's online, whatever. And anybody who's ever posted on this and anybody's listened to this, anybody who's posted anything on my group, I've reached out to them personally and said, hey, how can I help you succeed in that class? Or what can I do to help you get that class up and off the ground? I'm always down to help out and to do whatever I can, which is the whole purpose of the group, is to say, hey, if for example, right now, the big thing is the guys want to learn Vectorworks, right? If anybody's out there in the community who knows Vectorworks, who's just willing to share it, let's do a live class. What do you need to make that happen? What can I provide for you to make that happen through AV Educate? Or what can my partnership with AFPC do in Orlando to help you make that happen?
No, we have a subscription. What can we do? And, my name is Zack Larsen. That's Omar Colom. That's Adam Faldetta. We're all on Facebook. If you want to hit us up directly, please. We're here.
Yeah.
It's not like there's work.
Our gear's here. You want to learn cameras? Come on over. We got them. You want to learn projectors? Our door's open.
I'll show you how to mix a show today.
Yeah. If anybody saw the post I just did recently on Instagram, we set up a whole CADIC section and we set up a whole ATEM 2ME, Playback Pros, 2 Panasonic cameras, 4K cameras. We taught literally 2 guys that came into the warehouse. We just taught them.
The last week we had a whole backstage area built in Zack's office. And we put cameras out in the warehouse, and our truck drivers and warehouse guys were learning how to be camera operators, following one of our other engineers pacing back and forth and pretend giving speeches in the warehouse, walking 200 feet in each direction, and teach them. These guys don't want to be, tagging cases and driving trucks the rest of their life. They got into this business because they're passionate about it too. So now's the time to help them build their careers.
Maybe vice versa. Maybe we can train some of our lighting people to drive trucks for a few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're all going to help each other out.
Well. It's going to go real well.
I have a veteran trained truck driver here. So if you guys need that, let us know. This guy will train you to military standards.
And that's another thing. Like working with Omar, I don't just know audio anymore. Like that's my passion. But I know video. I know lighting. I can build anything now.
That's another good point, is so much of us through our careers have focused on a single discipline, which in order to be a master, you need to do. But it's definitely helpful for the show as a whole and the community as a whole to have a basic knowledge of what everyone around you is doing so that you can both be helpful and courteous to them on show site. So maybe you are a master video engineer, but you know nothing about audio. Well,
maybe take a couple audio classes.
Take a few audio classes. Understand why you and the audio guy are fighting on every single show.
Yeah. Understand why Dante just went out.
Yep.
Oh, what did my computer just do?
I
went to DHCP?
We should all be learning COM.
Yeah, you should definitely all learn COM. And Dante.
That's 100%.
Everybody should know COM because we all live and die by it, and none of us know how to use it. God. We should all learn FreeSpeak and HelixNet and RTS and Riedel.
I feel like Chris, you got a story there.
Well, Riedel.
It's just it's always the last thing that people think about.
Yep.
It's the thing that right before show that, hey, did anybody check COM? Like, well, no.
It's only an audio issue. Oh, the audio guy will do it. Bitch, that's everyone.
Yeah. So
how many shows have we all done where COM works except for the camera operators?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's learn how to get COM into cameras.
Did you not add a power supply? Does it not go down like that?
Exactly.
Weird.
And
we just had,
always happens. Oh, hey, do we have 3 more FreeSpeak panels?
So I'll add, I totally forgot about this. So we set up the whole video package and we did clear COM. And Zack got pulled away for a meeting. And one of our main guys we contact, Kyle Parker, came in and literally just on the one said, hey, yeah, you guys I'll show you what's up. And he taught us how to use the GUI system and how to use the faceplate.
That was for FreeSpeak 2.
For FreeSpeak 2, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For FreeSpeak 2. And we got up and running, and that's what we used to communicate between the teams in the office that were doing the shader and the 2MEs and our guys in the field doing that. And then we had Robert on the other end doing with the DSM monitor, looking at them, kind of doing the back and forth pacing like Adam was saying.
That's Robert Prometter,
I'm sorry. He was showing them kind of, hey, okay, if I do this, you're going to look out for this. My shoulders move this way. That means I'm probably going to go this way. Look out for these type of clients. If I go forward and backwards,
hand gestures,
this.
Everything.
Right. He was
hand
getting
gestures
all these
and shoulders are, big things for camera operators. You watch
and
that.
Then again, on this conversation, Adam comes in a little later back with Zack and he goes, oh, why don't you guys just plug into the CCUs and do it that way? And we're like, we didn't know how to do that. So 15 minutes later, like now we're doing it correctly because he came back in and was like, oh yeah, we should have done it the first place.
Well, there's some cheat codes, and like Panasonic doesn't supply power.
Right.
New Panasonic cameras don't supply power. So you have
neither does the Helix set stuff. So like you can use, the old school 2-wire RTS stuff because those are wet lines, those are powered channels, but the digital stuff isn't. So now you need to repower the channels
through a free speak unit,
just little things like that. You could read the manual all day long on HelixNet and the camera, and neither one of them are going to tell you need a third-party power supply to make this work.
Yeah,
we found that out the hard way.
Cheat codes, and all of it is on AV Educate. Every one of us is on that page. If you want to reach out to his page, my personal Instagram, Facebook, whatever, Adams. We're always here.
Yeah, we're here.
That's a wealth of knowledge there.
We chill in our office, especially fucking right now.
Yeah.
Hey, smoke them if you got them.
10,000 square foot warehouse. Come on, guys.
It sounds like you guys are keeping the doors open for the next few weeks as well. Is that?
That's clear to partly cloudy.
Yeah, we have a lot of gear sitting around, but we're trying to use the time to ramp up, like we said. Train some people and
yeah, and I mean even this as a thing for real
the rack projects that we've been too busy to sit and solder for a while, so we're trying to finish up some packages. Zack has been too busy to sit and solder. You don't want me to solder. That'll be bad.
Hey,
I mean, it'll work. It just won't look nice.
Yeah, as this. I mean, if you guys are interested in anything, hit Omar up, hit me, hit Adam.
Our doors are open.
Let's learn some stuff.
Make new friends.
Every day, someone's in the shop.
Yeah,
I'm not going to act like it's not dark over here. I mean,
currently we all seem like we're in really good spirits. We'll see if it's the same as true in a month or so.
Shit, we're not.
Nah.
That's actually what I wanted to talk about as far as the Change.org pledge, and I believe you have an updated pledge that is being.
Yeah, so we created a landing page, and why I say me, I mean Isaac and Isaac. Sorry,
Isaac
Rothwell and Trevor Zelinski created a landing page called Event Crisis. Oh man, I'm so sorry. EventCrisisAid.com.
Okay.
And that is kind of more an official page to go to. They kind of read the same information as the other page. But we just kind of wanted to make it a little more official. There's a little video link in there and a link back to our change page as well. But it's www.eventindustry.aid.com. And that link will bring you to the same stuff we have. And I'm actually going to look at it right now while we're doing this.
Basically, it just encourages people to be aware that this is the first step, and that things are going to get pretty tough for an entire industry. I mean, a $1 billion industry in the United States and around the world.
$multi-billion industry. Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of a big thing too, is that, as you hear, not to get, too doom and gloom or political about things, but as you listen to the news and you hear our elected officials talk about aid packages, not one of them has mentioned to us yet.
Correct.
They're bailing out the $1 billion hotel chain. They're bailing out the food service and the Lyft and Uber drivers, things that all these cancellations have affected. But, for a long time, people kind of tend to forget the AV guys even exist. And we do. And we're a very big part of this industry. And we're, there's a lot of people that earn a living, and they're not all multimillionaire gear owners. There's a lot of stagehands that work for an hourly paycheck, and union guys and electricians and riggers who, if you just lost all of your gigs, there's going to be a big concern financially for a lot of families out there who need people to do this. And, meeting planners, event planners, producers, technical directors,
warehouse
staff, truck drivers that, we're kind of an industry that feeds a lot of other industries too. I mean,
I dare say the backbone of the business industry. We are the backbone. We make all that stuff happen.
I think we get overlooked a lot because in larger crises like 9/11 and whatnot, the entertainment industry is known for being very elastic and bouncing back very quickly. But in this case, we're being attacked at the heart of what we are. We're entertainment. We bring people.
Anything.
Yeah. We bring people together. We are the gathering industry.
Yep. And there's no gathering.
There isn't even
a gathering to talk about fixing it. Yep. So, usually that's, in the live event side of things, when there is a financial crisis or a health crisis or whatnot, we might lose some shows, but we'll see an uptick in medical meetings or financial meetings.
Yes.
Right now, there are no meetings, there are no gatherings, there are no concerts. Live studio audiences from television shows are being sent home. And this is, this is hundreds of thousands of people who make their living this way. And
we're no different than any box house. We had to lay people off. It was the period, end of story, hardest thing that we've ever done as a company. And, who knows how long this lasts.
Yeah.
All we can do right now is, every employee that we have still has a key. It's time to learn. It's time to invest in yourself. But people aren't paying bills. Everything's canceled in 2020 minus fucking rent.
Cancel Fest 2020. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rent isn't canceled.
Except for
electric isn't canceled.
Yeah.
No.
That's the sad
the government
part. Every piece of work.
Out. All right. They still want their
you're
money.
Talking all the way to I'm in Orlando, Will's Pub, small little bar. All their local shows canceled.
Wow.
You're talking downtown Orlando. There's not going to be
even nightclub gigs are going away and bar gigs.
DJs are fucking canceling because they don't want to get people sick. If their name is the one that got someone sick and they died,
yep,
that's on them forever. So they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
You're talking all the way from a bar back is affected by this. And I'm sure other industries, I just know the one that we're in. We're in entertainment and we're in bar industries. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We supply for the people for entertainment. It's dark. I won't lie, we're doing great. We're doing trainings because there's nothing else to do. My guys are going to try to figure out how to get work. It's not like I can pay them. We're small. We might have a bunch of gear. It's not like we have a bunch of money.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is, a lot of the gear houses, I think a lot of the impression is going to be to attack each other. People think that because we have gear, we have money, or because somebody else has gear, that they have money. Yes, the gear costs a lot of money and we've invested into it. A lot of it the bank owns and we make payments on monthly. A lot of it, we've invested our life savings as technicians and every show that we do buys one more piece of gear or helps us get it. So just because you might know somebody who has a warehouse full of things and maybe they owe you, $2,000 for your last gig. Obviously, if you can, please pay people who've worked the last gig.
Yeah.
We've experienced, currently we have some clients of shows that we've done in January and February before the cancellations who they're nervous too, and they're not paying us for work completed yet. I'm sure eventually they will. And I'm sure that everything will go back to normal. But right now, everybody doesn't know what to expect. So everyone is kind of, in a situation where they're nervous and they're trying to make the best decisions for themselves and to just, make sure that we're all here when we come out of this. And in that scenario, if you're out there and you have a company you've worked for years, who's always been good about paying you and has always been upfront and honest with you, and now they're having a hard time, as hard as it is for you, it's probably just as hard for those owners and for the executives at that company that are trying to make difficult decisions to make sure that when this industry does come back, they're still here to keep giving everybody work. And
I'll add to that, to be devil's advocate here. Those two shows that I was talking about in particular, we did a fantastic job. We got tons of feedback from the client and the end client about how good we did, and we're still here. Yeah,
and I'm sure that I'm sure that once everything goes back to normal, the checks will start flowing again. And that's probably the most frustrating thing is we need to stick together if we're going to get through this. We need to all support each other, and that doesn't just mean the people with gear paying the people who don't have gear. People with gear are probably in way bigger debt than anybody realizes, and they're the ones who have the most to lose right now. Everyone has families to feed. Certainly, if you can, the big box houses who can pay people should be paying people.
Pay people. Don't lay everyone off.
Don't lay everybody off if you're a $100 million a year company. But if you're a $3 or $4 million a year company and you can't do the next show without a deposit for the next show, try to pay people. But there's only so much you can do if you're not getting the money in. And the technicians who work for us, I feel we're very fortunate. The people who work for us are our family, and they understand that, and we're in communication with everybody. We're doing everything that we can to make sure that everybody gets paid. And they've thankfully been very supportive and understanding thus far. I just want to make sure that the entire industry as a whole, we all need support. Everybody's hurting. And that's really what this change.org thing is about, is, bringing that awareness out to each other and to people outside of this industry. Because for a long time, when we do our jobs well, people don't know we exist.
Yep.
And I think that as a whole, our industry is pretty remarkable and amazing and full of a lot of really talented people. And because of how good of a job we have all done as an industry, our government doesn't know we exist. The people in the audience who we entertain do not know we exist. And now we need them to, because we need their help. And the families of the people who work in this industry need that help. And I think that's the biggest thing that we can take away from the petition.
And I'll add on to that, the AV Educate and me and the community of people. If anybody has any advice about what could be doing or what could be done in these times to better anybody, or just general financial advice to anybody moving forward past this event, just to future-proof themselves, but please share it with the community. I'm always trying to ask it. I have a CPA coming on board with me right now who's going to start offering information so that guys can kind of better prepare themselves for what's to come and to be better prepared for next year and what's happening with the taxes and the laws and things like that. I also partnered up with Omar Colom as well for health stuff. So he's going to offer free information for anybody who has any of that information. And if anybody needs any health stuff in general, he's kind of my go-to guy for AV Educate right now, to give that information to and to contact and to push forward. And we're going to try to post articles and things like that as well throughout the rest of this month to help the community out the best I can. I have a lot of kind of running posts that I'm hoping people comment on and give me feedback on what they're doing during these difficult times and what they're trying to see and what they're doing. And I'm going to try to write as much as I can to help out the community. Anything I can think of that I'm personally doing or that I'm seeing out there and then I'm reading about in social media threads and pushing it out to all my social media outlets to just get feedback on and continue to input on.
I mean, this time, all you can do is share.
Yeah. Share.
Communication is key. Communication amongst each other, communication amongst people you don't know, see what's going on. And hey, you know what? Like I said, we all got to stick together. A lot of these meetings are going virtual. A lot of things are going to be going to webcasts. Let's help each other out. If you hear about something and you can use a couple of people, use AV Educate. Let's stay together. Let's let everybody know. Oh, hey, this group of meetings is going virtual. Let's all try to get on these meetings. Or hey, this show is going to do a webcast. Let's try to stay on with this. And if we can all kind of support each other and make sure that as this entire crisis continues and unfolds, that we're really banding together. That's going to be how we're going to get through this. We're not going to get through this by attacking each other and trying to gig poach from each other.
Agreed.
I love that, but that probably won't happen. But what will happen is possibly people will look at this as a time to be educated, a time to invest in themselves. And I mean, that's all you can ask for. People aren't going to help each other right now. Everyone's going to be after everyone. Yep. It's going to be terrible.
And again, sorry. I was going to say, just again, to play devil advocate with you, you would be surprised how many groups I shared that aid petition for that.
Well, I understand because
they rejected it. No, but they rejected it and sent me a thing back saying that we will not post this because it's not part of our criteria, or it doesn't fit our needs, or it doesn't whatever. And I also got a response from somebody saying, "Do not post any more advertising on my page. I will remove you." I won't say the group names or anything like that, but I was like,
"This is for everyone,
right? This is for everyone."
And that's what people don't understand is a lot of this is for everyone. We're a community that lives and breathes off each other. Like not one person can do a show, but a lot of people attack each other.
Yeah.
And just try to be the one-stop shop, this, that, whatever. In this time, all you can do is try to learn, try to take time for yourself, try to, better other people. No one's coming after you to take your gig. All you can do right now is better yourself.
Yeah.
Come out this stronger than you were before. I mean, I hate to tell you, but a lot of people aren't going to get work. You're going to sit at home. So versus sitting at home, why don't you do some YouTube? Why don't you learn some new stuff that you didn't know? Why don't you see what companies are doing free trainings? AFPC is one of them. Just to shout out.
If anybody else is doing it out there, post it to my group. Let the community know. Trust me, I have tons of followers. I'm gaining them by the day now because of what's going on, and they're going to be looking at you for that 100% that knowledge.
And again, I've said it multiple times in this. Reach out to any one of us. We're all here,
and they can find you together. They can find you at aveducate.com.
Yeah, or any one of our names. You can add me personally on Facebook, and
we'll definitely add those in the links as well.
If you're interested, I'm here. We're a network.
And what about AFPC? Where
Instagram, Facebook, .com.
Same stuff. You can find them through me, or you can find them online. Just AFPC, Adam Philip Production Consultant.
Okay.
I was going to say that name.
I was going to say, I don't think that goes. AFPC.inc is pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, that's our link.
You can find
Facebook,
it on all of our
Inc.
names on Instagram, have a link to it. AFPC has a link to all of us.
I guess we call it a fun place to cry now because this is an area, but.
Hey, that's some internal shit. That ain't meant to be going out. Hey, I just want to take this time, and I'm sure our guys are going to listen. We did do a layoff. It was, again, the worst thing we've ever done. We love our staff. We love our people. We really hope to make it past this. And if you guys are listening, we're here. We're trying. We're virtually supporting everyone. We're doing what we can. I really hope the industry comes back. I hope it's bigger and better. I mean, that's the only thing you can hope for, right?
That's very uplifting, and this has been quite the roller coaster of a podcast. This is it was the best of times. It was the worst of times, for sure.
You got to have ups and downs. I mean, that's life.
Well, I think that's how every one of our emotions are going all day long as we're scrolling Facebook and watching the news and this and that. Going, oh, hey, that sounds really good. Oh, wait, no,
this is literally what whiskey was made for. Times like this.
Yeah. Right now,
support your local bars. Tip your staff.
I've got my kids at home for the next 3 weeks. They're off school.
Oh, awesome!
And I've never felt happier and more frustrated in my life.
Yeah, like in my family, we have season tickets to the theme parks, and
that's
like,
nice.
Doing well for you. Well, I guess we can go to Disney this week, and then they closed. So, so now spring break is us just looking at each other, getting mad about what to eat.
Hey, Chris, I will add now we're on this topic. If you're not doing this already out there, and you're listening to this podcast right now, if you have friends that you or coworkers that you work with that you want to hang out with outside the industry, this is definitely time to do it. I personally have a barbecue with a lot of South Florida friends of mine that I haven't seen in a while because I'm always traveling the world with these guys. We have a barbecue going on, and it's just literally a bunch of us. I probably haven't seen them in maybe 2-3 years. But these are the guys that I call when I have problems. But
that's all you can do.
Yeah, it's all you can do. So, and we're gonna get together.
Get closer.
Yeah, we did a private thing on Facebook. We kind of all jumped in on it. We're all gonna bring little things on that. If we can do this, you guys out there can do this as well. Get with your friends. Do a little barbecue. Do a little get together, or meet at a bar. Just do a little hangout. Get to know your fellow coworker better.
Yeah. Just as us.
That's another thing is mental health of everybody who works in this industry who's not working right now is an important thing that we haven't touched on yet. Is if we're all sitting around and nobody's working, right now it's easy to be uplifting and confident, but it's in a couple of weeks from now, if this is still going on,
it's not going to be great.
It's going to be dark times for a lot of people, and
they need hugs. They need how are you doing?
Those of you who are doing better or happier or are fortunate enough to be in a situation to help each other. We're not traveling. There's no excuse not to get together. There's no excuse not to hang out.
Now's the time.
There's no gig. There's no flight you need to catch.
All right, I'm answering a phone.
Yeah.
Just, let's, like I said before, watch out for each other. This is going to be a difficult time for a lot of people, and, give each other hugs.
Yeah.
Hang out, go
hugs
see
and vitamin C. That's
if you still have Netflix working, then bring people over and watch some movies at your house.
If you're that guy that's doing smokers and stuff, you need to be hosting.
yeah. If there's a lot of people in this industry that we know that have hobbies of working on cars and smoking pork butts in their backyard or whatever. Include include your colleagues and your friends in that. Have people come over and wrench on your Civic with you for a little while or this or that. Yep. Just get them out of the rut of checking email every day looking for the next gig that canceled. Let's stay together and let's take care of each other and make sure that when we do come back, we come back strong and healthy and happy.
Yeah, that's good advice. Thank you guys so much for all your time. I feel like we could talk about this for hours on end.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate you guys being able to, get on the call. And I hope that people are listening and they're going to realize that this doesn't have to be all bad. This can be, there is a silver lining here.
100%. And please, again, support your local community. Yeah. Everyone is hurting in this. Restaurants, bars, everything.
Yeah, and please sign the petition. I've gotten mixed information, or not mixed information, mixed communication between people on social media. This isn't a plead for free money, or it's just to get our voice out there and to be heard and to be part of that conversation with the government. To say, hey, we're also hurting here, and you guys don't even realize it. And
it's not only
helping
Fortune
us.
500s that need bailouts,
right? Yeah, right. And the argument a lot of times been like, "Oh, where's that money going?" It's like it doesn't matter where it's going. It's a voice.
It's going to pay people's
rent.
It's going to pay people
Hopefully, it gets to that. And
buy food.
Yeah, and a lot of the arguments I'm seeing is a money argument. It's like, listen, the government's already helping out the big guys.
Oh, 100%.
Who's speaking out for you right now? Where are those
trillions going?
Right. Who's speaking out for you?
Us.
They're not going to us. So, help everybody else out in the community. Make us an aware presence so that, the banks, the gig economy, they start helping us, whatever they can, or shit, even some bills, man. Like, help me out with some bills here, help me at least defer some stuff for a little bit here if I can.
Yeah, exactly. Put our rent and mortgages on hold. And,
I was going to say everything's canceled other than bills.
Other than bills, yeah. Cancel Fest 2020 other than bills. You guys still pay those. So if this petition does anything, I mean, it's just to give us a voice in the government and for the community.
Absolutely. I will make sure to put the link in the notes. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, man. I appreciate everything.
Absolutely.